Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. Cloudflare cannot stop us from going live. I told Alex, though, I would start my show off every day with saying, good morning, I'm Rick, and I'm from Texas. If you know, you know. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Yeah, we can't even get crypto bubbles up here. Crypto bubbles said no, thank you. And no internet connection is what it says. Yeah, Cloudflare is playing massive craziness with everything out there today, but we can look at the CNBC at least. We know where we are with the charts. That's all working. Just a lot of things being affected today by Cloudflare. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Talk about what's going on in the markets. We are hitting a current resistance level that I'm watching closely here. You can see right there. We came up and we have rallied to the bottom of the golden pocket. Guys, we're doing a textbook OC retest and rejection for more downside. What's Polymarket saying about the targets that we can hit? We'll talk about that today and a whole lot more right here on the Morning Market Report. You guys know what time it is. Take your seats, get your notebooks out. Alexander G, get your Trapper Keeper lady, and get your music trivia ready. Let's do it. We'll see you on the other side. Class in session. Let's go. And I still haven't fixed that. So, hey, what do you know? I will fix it one of these days. One of these days it will be fixed. But I'll tell you what did get fixed. OC in his locality that he's operating from, he is back home. OC, what is up, dude? Welcome back to Merida. Welcome back to your normal background. Welcome back to some normalcy here in the on the show, at least for a month. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastic. You better than me my whole itinerary. Yes, I'm traveling back for December, right after Black Friday, back to Merida, I mean to Cozumel. But this time, I'm going to be traveling with big screens and, of course, a green screen for my background. But other than that, doing fantastic. Oh, man, what a relief and what happiness I feel getting back on my setup. It is just fantastic to get everything just as you leave it. I mean, great.
I when I'm not home, I miss my home location. Like it's just not the same when I travel. If you guys don't know, Alex O, shout out to the Alex O, the OGs joining us here on the show. Shout out to the Otter Gang. Appreciate you guys coming on over here. Appreciate Alex for sending you guys this way. If you don't know though, OC, I'm actually going to be gone in December. You're going to be covering the show for 2 weeks. I'm sure you know that, but don't worry, don't panic. No panic. But yeah, OC's going to be hosting and running the show for 2 weeks. I'll be in Europe. I'm doing a river cruise up through Europe, hitting all the Christmas markets. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be pretty cool. If you guys don't know, my wife, story time with Army Piper here. My wife was also in the Army. She did 26 years, and she was stationed in Germany for about 3 years. So she loved Germany and went to all of the Christmas markets and stuff. And so she's always told me about them. I've never got to go to Germany at all. I tried to go to Germany many times in the military and they kept saying no. How about South Korea? Or how about we send you to the desert in Fort Bliss? Or how about we send you to Iraq and then Syria and Afghanistan and Kuwait and Jordan and all these.
Oh, Piper.
Turkey.
Right?
We'll send you.
Where do we need people to kill? Let's see. Special ops. Oh yeah, right here.
So funny enough, there's a system that we use for mapping in the military, and you can zoom in and it goes through like layered maps all the way down to like satellite imagery, right? And you can't see. You can put overlays on the map layers that are not visible from other layers, right? And then some that are visible from other layers. So as you're zoomed out, there's a town in Turkey called Batman. I kid you not. It's called Batman. And if you are looking at it, you see Batman, but if you zoom in and start to get closer to it, right, you'll start to see a little beam of translucent light, like I dropped it down the opacity, right? But it's the Bitcoin symbol inside of a little yellow circle, okay, with the light like coming up. And if you keep zooming in, you keep zooming in all the way into satellite imagery, there's a little clip art of Batman standing on top of a building with the little light thing where the light's coming from, giving the Batman signal. I don't know who put that on there, but it's there forever. Yeah, I did that. So people talked about it all the time. They're like, who the hell put Batman in Batman? Don't know. So if anybody over there from, like Centcom airs watching right now and you've gone in and just looked at Batman, yeah, I'm the guy that did that. I put Batman in Batman Turkey. So there you go. Story time with Arby Piper.
Love it. Graffitiing army stuff.
Hey, you got to have fun when people are trying to kill you. OC, how are we looking on the Bitcoin chart? Speaking of, it's not made up. I promise you, it's not made up. I really did that. How are we looking on the Bitcoin chart? Speaking of people trying to kill us, what's it look like over there for us?
All right, so let's check this out. Basically, we were talking about 3 drive, remember? Or at least not 3 drive, that is an Alex out thing, like going 3 times downside and then bouncing up. But we were talking about yesterday, do you remember? Well, yeah, you're right. You were not here. About Wyckoff, right? We were talking about Wyckoff, the 3 different scenarios where what could happen, and actually mentioned, hey, you know what, the third one seems to be the smallest and the charm, right? So let me just clean this thing for a little bit. There it goes. And zoom this out. So we have one Wyckoff, and of course, let me just get rid of this. All right. So we have one Wyckoff scenario coming down in here. There it is. So coming down, we have a range down 1. Coming down, we have a range 2. We have a range right here, 3rd, right? And the 3rd one tends to be the charm. So I was expecting, I was telling you guys, hey, you know what? Maybe we need that sweep of the low, right? Trying to go get some liquidity down here, and we need a V-shaped recovery. Another important thing is that we were looking at the predictive ranges, right? That's why we had, and let's this thing think for a second. That's why we have a circle in here, right? I know there is all the way down there, but believe me, right here, if you move this thing out of the way, there it is. You have, or you can see a gray line right here on these predictive ranges, right? Not only there, but also if we start turning things on, and I don't quite remember which layer was it. There you go. You can see it coming in not only closer, but also having a lot of things happening in here. Remember, we had a liquidity zone right down there. We also have at the end of the support and resistances. So we needed to recalculate support and resistances. We also were looking at a daily support, which is already gone because we broke it. All right. And well, then so on and so forth. Another important thing that was happening in the 4 hours, let me bring this up. It was a reversal signal right in here. And there it is, our latest support zone circled right there. So what is it? Why is this important? This is important because, hey, you know what? We're having that last sweep. Remember, we were talking about maybe something like that. And if we are able to break back above this area right where we started our previous entry, I'm longing this thing once again, all right? There is going to be a little caveat here. I'm not just going to be blindly longing this. Why? Because let me bring this up really quickly. Let me just get this get out of the picture and then put it back in. All right. And let's bring this up really quickly. Let's go right here. Right here, you see that we're coming down. We have a little range. We have a V-shaped recovery and a high, not higher than the previous range. Basically, this one equally or lower than the previous range, right? Let me copy this image and let's paste it in here, all right? And let me try to make it bigger. Here it is. So this is what we're looking, little ranges, right? And for that, let me just get rid of this. Oh, and it's locked. Of course, that is locked. Always lock your VIPs. All right. And also, let's just get rid of this. We already have this. Absolutely. Lock your feet, guys. All right. So here's the thing. Little range. Perfect. V-shaped recovery. Hopefully we can get the AR. Where are we going to get the AR? Equally or lower than your previous range. This is a target for the short. But hey, didn't you just mention that you're going to be longing this thing? Yes, I did mention that. What are we going to be longing tops? It's not that we're going to be longing tops, but I'm going to be looking for this. And remember, we already have talked about this on the daily. Breaking above our zero line, and if I'm above the zero line and my money flow is above the zero line and my true 7 is also above the zero line, that's when I'm going to be longing this thing, because it is just 70% chances. Guys, 70% chances means that you also have 70, 80, 90, and 100. You also have another 30% of the thing not playing out. All right. So here's the thing. I believe that we have a 30% of rejection and continuation downwards. And I think that we're so far, because remember, we don't have the confirmation. We don't have just yet the AR, right? And at this point, I think that we have another little percent right here to actually come back and create this, and another little percent to break all the way up, breaking the previous range, all right? And then created a higher low like this. And that's when I'm going to be longing this thing, all right? This is going to depend, first of all, on time. And second of all, on how we read our oscillator, all right? Or what our oscillator tells us to do. So it's time for me to wait a little bit in here. We have a big drop down in here. It seems like we're not getting that much of a power here, but still, we already have flip of the ribbon, possible reversal, and oversold situation. So there's only one more thing. And by the way, guys, this is what I'm telling you. If we don't bounce in here, most likely we're going to be calling out the bear market, or I'm going to be calling out the bear market, because we already, and we go to daily. Let me hide
Slowly,
everything
he's
here.
getting there.
I'm getting there, exactly. Look at that. And I need to bring this up because, dude, this is just getting in the way. I need to clean up the other charts. But here it is. I mean, I'm going to be calling out now the bear market because we're getting to that target, right? Important is that we still have this. Yeah, get rid of this. We are creating a big wick down below, which give me hope, right? Just like in here, just like in here, just like in here, that we can get the rebound. Even with that rebound, this is, and you can see it right here, 98,500. It's going to be the decisive point whether if we break, retest, continue, or if then we call out the bear market for a further continuation. We already have broken almost every structure. The only thing left will be this one, but we're talking about 82. Remember, we have a target at the 84 mark, all right? And that is basically the last line on the sand. So let's see how that goes. I really would like to see some big swipe like this. Still something like very, very dramatic. If we have something like, for example, like this in here, something like that. And I kid you not, I mean, that's totally possible. Let's actually grab it from, where is it? Candle things. And let's grab this one here. All right. So it's totally possible. Look at that. It's totally possible, right? So we get that movement, not even from the latest candle, but from the breakout or even up there, right? If we get that pushover, right, and then we have the V-shaped recovery, I'll be very happy because I'm going to be buying in these areas. Remember, starting from 84 and going all the way to 82-ish. But on the daily, we're also very close to that flip of the ribbon. So is it a relief rally incoming? I think almost with certainty, almost with certainty, I can tell you that yes, it is coming. I believe that we're crazy close. And
Yeah,
well, then we
I'm actually
figure
watching
action start
something
after
very
that.
similar to what you said. I'm actually watching for the 618. So I'm looking at like 94,230
Right.
area. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Jump over here and we'll take a look at it. And let me put that up. There we go. Piper Academy at the top. There we go. What I'm watching here is I'm watching for us to come back up. You see all this support we had back here, and then we broke it, retest on it and down. We haven't been really back to retest it again. So I'm watching for about 94,237 on a retracement, little relief rally. If we do pump up past that, guys, watch for that $100,358 range. That would be the next level that I would watch for once we break, if we break 618. And that's because this was another area of previous support, and that is now going to be resistance. Plus, by the time that we get up there, our dynamic reactor should be down in that range also. And you guys can see we don't do well against that. So that'll be what happens if we do make it above the 0.66, get a bounce. Watch for us to get maybe a little play off of the 618. But if it breaks through that, I do think we're heading to $100,000 Bitcoin. If we get rejected at any of these points, guys, my level below that I'm watching, it's going to be the 786 here on the fibs. And to show you guys where these are drawn from, this is from our bottom that we had back in April to the high of 126,200, whatever dollars it was. Where Piper sold up there at the top. I would be watching for that 786 at $85,000. And I got some stuff on the news side that we'll talk about that's looking at those levels also. Polymarket, some price predictions out there. By the way, if you guys don't know, Polymarket getting a lot of the crypto action lately with USDT over in Polymarket. Interesting, I thought. Let's go give a shout out to the chat. We got Trade Intuition in here. We've got V Monitors in the house with us. Dutchy is in here. Drop those Dutch clogs in the chat for Dutchy. We got Alexander G, the mod queen, joining us. Crunk is in here. Crunk said it's cold in Korea. Look, Crunk, you don't worry about the weather in Korea. All you do is you go to the Kalbi house, you eat some Kalbi barbecue and drink some soju, and the weather just no longer feels cold. That's how you do it there. We got Wave Cypher in here with us. Appreciate you being here, bro. Username joining us in the house. Chris writes. Who else we got? We got a lot, man. Wix Wi-Fi 89. We got Master 33. Man, a lot of you guys in here. I saw my brother, CJ Taylor's in here. So shout out to everybody. We got 131 people watching right now, about 28 likes. So if you guys be so kind, smash the likes, help us out tremendously, and helps the algorithm. So if you'd be so kind, I won't ask you again. Appreciate y'all. All right, OC, let's go take a look at the news and let's break all that down. Get into all the news. It's fit to be news. I'm going to readjust my monitor here. There we go. And let's go see how the news is looking. Oh, we got news. Yay. Looking at the crypto market cap right now, total crypto market cap sitting at $3.138 trillion. Trend on this is sitting at 4.65 or 4.675, I should say. We're currently undervalued 32.89% there on that. What else do we have here? I got to go through it a little different way because we've got some weirdness going on with the dashboard. It's probably coming off of all of that Cloudflare. But right now, looking at the wristbands for Bitcoin, currently sitting in a loading status for us. Yeah, it's going to take forever. There we go. 427, 42.7% wristband right now. That would still be a 3x DCA. There was some other stuff that I was looking for in here. I won't say any names, but there's a person that hit me up this morning on DMs in the chat and said, hey, I've lost some money over the past 7 days. I cannot hit a winning trade. I need help, Piper. And I said, let me guess, you're trying to long the reversals. That's what's going on here. You're trying to long the reversals, and now you're getting wrecked because it just keeps going down. He said, yeah, I'm trying to catch the bounce. And I said, look at the super trend, guy. Just look at the trend. What do you see there? We're in a downtrend. You're trading against the trend. Quit trying to catch the bottom and trade the trend. It's your friend, right? I will point out though, the individual has, the little Discord tags that you can, like ours says army. If you're on our Discord, you can have that, or like Alex O says gang, so on and so forth. Yeah, his said bros. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, definitely not looking good. Too good over there. OC, I want to unmute you. I had you muted in case you want to talk, but yeah, I had you muted because you were getting a lot of desktop noise moving your mouse around and stuff. Looking at the DCAs, guys, I want to pull this up here. We don't look at this too often. We do this a lot over in our Discord, but I want to show you guys what we're looking at here. If we go to 2025 January, I want this in January. Go to January. Thank you. January 1st through the current. Okay. Our best day to DCA, and so this chart shows the best day of the week to DCA based on average percentage differences from moving averages. For example, the default 7-day has a value of 1 on Sunday. Then that would indicate that the price on Sunday is average 1% higher than the average price. Therefore, the day with the lowest value on this chart is the best day to DCA. You guys see what today is? Look, it's Tuesday. For Bitcoin, Tuesday is your best day to DCA. Shout out to Buck. That's what you should be looking at. with our levels today. And I do think that we could head a little bit lower today if we don't break down below. Piper is not so discreet. I am not discreet at all. You are correct. So yeah, there's something you can watch there. Tuesday DCA, best day to do it. There's the Cloudflare thing. Cloudflare, an internet infrastructure that helps websites secure and manage their internet traffic, suffered a major outage, which took down hundreds of websites and web services on Tuesday, including Amazon, ChatGPT, Indeed, Shopify, Spotify, and X. They all seem to be up now. Obviously, I'm on X. But looking at your fear and greed index right now, we're sitting at 11 in extreme fear. We haven't had an update on this for several hours. I'm just going to see if they get a new one. Nope, still 5 hours ago. Likely because they're having issues also with, Cloudflare. So as of 5 hours ago, we had a fear and greed index of 11. Hit by an unusual spike in traffic resulting in website outages. So that's what happened there. Their stock net is down over 5% on the daily, probably down even lower now. Let's talk about this. Actually, we'll talk about this in a little bit. Do not let me forget about this. I talked about this yesterday, but this guy does a really good deep dive on what's going on with Japan and how it's going to affect the markets potentially and the global economy. So McDonald's saw a record surge in job applicants as the crypto market continues to free fall. That came in from Polymarket. That was breaking news. And as per the thumbnail today, I've got my McDonald's uniform ready to go. White House attacks Americans' foreign crypto accounts. So let's talk. You guys know those exchanges that you got out there that you're trading on, and you're like, "Oh, I got this money over here." The federal government doesn't even know it. Those exchanges may start giving some info, and like it's really simple. Okay, well, cool. I didn't KYC. I'm good to go there, right? Well, you could have a situation where you actually have, you move that money at some point to a centralized exchange, and now they have that wallet address. And then they go back and they look, even though you're not KYC'd, they've now tagged it to you through association link analysis. That's what it is. And IRS is going to start looking at these offshore foreign crypto accounts that everybody's trading on and start to tax that also. That just happened from the White House. I will point out something, and I'm a little irritated about this. We were told all this stuff, all this great stuff that was going to happen with markets and with crypto and with all these things, right? And now they're just finding more ways to get us at every turn. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to get too political, but yeah, it sucks. OC, your thoughts on this? The U.S. taxpayers will not be able to hide their crypto anywhere at some point. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. And that is a long way to see this. I mean, there was like a little light at the end of the tunnel where we would fight against this on voting, right? But they're making it so that once it's approved, they're never gonna unapprove it, all right? Until we make some pressure on it. But remember the wet dream of politicians or the SEC, which is CBDC?
They can have all my losses, Chris Wright said.
Oh.
Love you, bro. IRS is such a buzzkill. Facts.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the annual bonuses that we put out, OC, that are coming here within a month, probably being paid on USDT off of that account, just so you guys know.
Nice. Let's get it. That's how actually I don't do stuff around here.
That's right. We don't do anything.
We don't do
love it. Yeah. Anyway, your thoughts on this? Is this just let it happen? Just let it happen. Is that what we're dealing with here? I think that's pretty much what it is, my opinion. But your thoughts?
Yeah. I think we shouldn't, but I think it's unavoidable unless we start actually making, like some mobilization all around, when we start seeing those laws. I don't think that's likely because it's silent. We are a minority, but it is what it is. But let me kind of put this on the table. Remember CBDC's wet dream of politicians were in CC?
Sir, well, it's not a CBDC. It's not a CBDC. It's the Genius Act and the Clarity Act that just looks and smells like a CBDC, but it's not central bank driven. So I guess it's not a CBDC. It's a
Well, but it's
digital
fully
dollar.
traceable,
It's a digital
right?
dollar. It's a DDC, not like a DDT. That's a great trader. A DDC is an ungreat dollar. So, not a CBDC.
Exactly. I mean, it smells like it, does like it, right?
Looks like a duck.
Moves like it.
Quacks like a duck. It's probably a chicken. All
Exactly. Yes.
right, let's get back to the news here. I want to finish this up and we'll come back and take a look at some altcoins. Looking at the White House there. Let's continue looking on here. Now we'll go into Japan. Let's check this out, guys. I talked yesterday about Japan's 20-year yield and that it was a slow unwinding of Japanese carry trade in slow motion, right? Which could cause some slow bleed off on the markets, which would be very painful to watch. But Japan just broke the global financial system. You have 30 days. November 18th, 2025, Japan's 20-year bond hit 2.75% on its yield, highest in recorded history. The single number just ended the 30-year era that made your retirement possible. The math is simple and fatal. Japan has 263% debt to GDP, $10.2 trillion total. They survived because their rates were at zero. At 2.75%, debt services explode from $162 billion to $280 billion over 10 years. That's 38% of the total government revenue consumed by interest alone. No nation in history has sustained this without default or hyperinflation. But here's your portfolio first. Japan holds about $3.2 trillion in foreign assets. $1.13 trillion of that is in U.S. treasuries alone. And they bought everything foreign because the Japanese bonds paid nothing. Now Japanese bonds are paying 2.75%. After hedging costs, holding U.S. treasuries lose money for Japanese investors. Regulation is not optional. It's mathematical necessity at this point. $500 billion exits global markets in 18 months. The yen carry trade holds about $1.2 trillion in borrowed yen funding, global assets, stocks, crypto, emerging markets, everything. As Japan's rates rise and the yen strengthens, every position goes underwater. Forced liquidations have already begun. Three certainties that nobody can deny. The rate gap between the U.S. and Japanese bonds collapsed from 3.5 to 2.4 in 6 months. When it hits 2%, the Japanese money flows back home. And U.S. borrowing costs spikes by 30 to 50 basis points, regardless of Fed's policy. December 18th, the Bank of Japan meets. And that is the 1 month. That's why we said 30 days. 50% probability they hike again. If they do, the yen is going to surge and every carry trade loses another 6% instantly. Margin calls cascade globally. Japan cannot print money to escape. Inflation already exceeds target. So more printing collapses the yen and imports inflation. They're trapped between currency crisis and debt crisis. The anchor holding global rates down for 30 years just broke. Every portfolio built since 1995 assumed Japanese yields would stay near zero forever, and that assumption has died today. Position for chaos or become collateral damage. There's no middle ground. I think he did a great breakdown on what this means for the markets. And guys, if he's right on this data, then we're looking at a possibility that December could really start the bear market. And right now, we're just in a prepare phase. It's kind of like getting into the water when it's warm and then turning the hot water up as you're in there so that you can get adjusted to it. Our current market situation, just getting you adjusted for what may be coming in December. Looking here at, I know. Look, see how many people left because I told them data and facts. Some people just don't want to hear the truth. They can't handle it. So
You can't handle the truth.
looking at the stock market right now, guys, down 1.36% on the Dow Jones, down about 1% on the S&P 500, NASDAQ down 1.43%, the Russell 2K down about 0.5%. Volatility now at 24.9. Guys, when we hit 25 on the volatility index, brace yourself. It's going to hit really hard, in my opinion, for what's coming when we start to get above 25 on the volatility index right now. Looking at the 4-year treasury yield, we're up to 4.1. That means that people are buying this up, and that right now it is red, so they're starting to buy it again, right? It is coming down, but we're not quite there yet. Oil sitting below $60, economic red flag for the economy. Looking at gold, gold is sitting above $4,000, but down about 3/10 today. Silver's down about 0.78%, 0.8, we'll call it. It's at $50. Copper is down, platinum is down, palladium is down. Palladium and platinum running about neck and neck, 1.96 to 1.92. We'll talk about this. I went pretty deep on that Japan stuff, so we'll cut out some of the stuff. Stifle raising NVIDIA's price. If you guys don't know, tomorrow at market close, Wednesday, market close, we're going to be having NVIDIA getting their earnings report coming in. Stifle is raising NVIDIA's price target ahead of Wednesday's earning report. And as a matter of fact, Wang, the CEO of NVIDIA, he actually surprised investors with a $500 billion forecast to come up at the earnings. We could see NVIDIA start to rally tomorrow off of this news. Of course, it could also just absolutely dump. Who knows how? I think even if they beat, it's going to might be a buy the rumor, sell the news type situation. But if NVIDIA starts to pump, this could actually give a little bit of a hope base for crypto to build off of. Ahead of earnings reports, Roy increases estimates for the stock for the last quarter. The analysts expect a moderate beat based on historical cadence. He also believes that the company will share optimistic guidance for a current quarter. And again, talking about $500 billion order books from Blackwell. So could be seeing that coming in. How are we looking on the crypto bubbles here today? Bitcoin's down about 1.9%. Ethereum's down 1.2%. XRP down 1.1%. Solana's up 1.6%. And BNB is up 0.6%. Big movers today. Hyperliquid. Of course, this comes because the more activity that's used on Hyperliquid decentralized exchange, they buy hype, right? So that's why we're seeing Hyperliquid there getting a little bit of a pump. It's because they use those fees to buy more, and it gets a nice little pump off of it. Other big movers, Zcash continuing to sell off, down 15.3% there on the daily. Maybe that whole run is over, and the shillers have fired it up. And then Retro Mike Tech's favorite, Litecoin, is up 1.4% today. Looking at the economic calendar, guys, we did get some jobs data that came in. Let me try to see if I can get a decent look here for you guys to see this. There we go. I know that's a little bit bright, but some weird stuff going on with the Cloudflare. So this morning, we got initial jobless claims that came in. These are from October, okay? It was at 232. Previously, it was at 218. They upped it to 219. And then, OC, can you mute your mic? You're doing some moving around on your desk and it's coming to your mic, brother. 219. Consensus was that it would be 223 or as high as 254. Actually came in at 232, in between consensus and forecast. So better than expected, but not as good as they had hoped on forecast. So ADP employment change, this actually came in a negative number again. So some job losses on private sector this week on the weekly change, losing about 2,000. Last time they were down 11,000 for a week. So seeing a continuation of private sector not really hiring anybody and taking away jobs. Tomorrow, we are going to get balance of trade coming in and exports, FOMC minutes. That's going to be the big one to watch tomorrow. Thursday, we're going to get our non-farm payrolls. If this is lower than 50K, could see some sell-off on that. And then unemployment rate also 4.3%. If this comes in higher than that, also could see some sell-off. That means continuation of the labor market weakening. Let's take a look here at the CME Group's prediction for rate cuts in December. We're now back to a greater chance of a rate cut than a pause. It's at 52.6% chance of a rate cut at this point. And then lastly, will Bitcoin hit 80,000 or $150,000 first? 78% chance, according to Polymarket, that we hit 80,000 before we hit 150,000. And then what level are they looking at for it to go down to in November? Guys, 31% chance that it's below 85,000, 31% chance being the biggest level here that people are predicting. So that is our news today, OC. Make sure you unmute yourself before you come in to talk. But what do you got for us on some altcoins? What are you watching there? And what should we be if we do get this little bounce off of Bitcoin, or maybe tomorrow that NVIDIA gives us a rally in the markets? What should we be watching on the altcoin side, brother?
Let's go check that out. All right, so we have a couple of alerts already hitting. Let's go check them out. Very important. Remember that we're waiting for Bitcoin to move. All right. So it is right now moving on the lower time frames, but remember we're getting to a resistance area. So altcoins are also going to start moving. So I believe that we need to look for some bottoming patterns. And for example, right here, BNB seems like it have won. All right. Double bottom so far. What is going to be the decisive area? Well, we have a bullish divergence, triple bullish divergence. We have a possible reversal. Remember, we're waiting for the oscillator to break above that zero line, right? This is our neckline. We want to see a breakout, so we're not going to be trading this until we have a breakout, retest, continuation. Still, we have a lot of things happening up in here, so we have a lot of resistances, all right? So what am I trying to tell you here? It's not, hey, it's time to buy. No, not at all. It's time to wait, but it's time to start looking at the thing, right? It's just like hunting. Like, do you like hunting? You go up in a tree, and then when you see the deer, you just don't you just don't go and shoot right away. All right, so you wait for the deer to first come in shooting round and shooting um range, and then you go and wait for it to stay still, right? The same thing we're going for. So we're waiting for the thing to get into shooting range, right? And when it comes back down and we know that we have them locked and ready, that's when we pull the trigger for a continuation upwards. Still, this represents a risk, all right? But we need to start looking for a possible bounce upwards. Another important thing is that if we are in the bear market, remember shorting is going to be the way. So also remember that as we're longing this thing, we're also looking for shorting scenarios until we start changing the main trend. And so far, this is the main trend. So breakout retest continuation might change the slight trend on the 4 hours, but on the daily, here it is. Well, we're still looking for the same zones, but might take a couple of more candles. So we have that one on BNB. Another one that I'm looking for, it's ADA. We have our first breakout retesting here. I was expecting it to, or looking for it to break up and then retest. It's not happening. It's actually going the other way around. So this, sorry for that. Coffee went the other way around. So this is not the time to start looking for long. So I was expecting for Bitcoin to start pulling up on ADA, but it's just not making it. So we're gonna be moving this off the way and waiting for the next area of support. So far, remember guys, we're bearish. Shorting is away. All right, but we're getting closer. There you go, to areas of support. The next area of support, and you can see the first one was in here. That's why we were looking for a bounce. But the next area of support is almost right around the corner. So once again, is this an area too long? Not just yet, until we have either flip of the ribbon, tiny candles, which we don't have in here, or a peak performance, or a reversal diamond here. So that's basically what we're looking for when the price action gets within these areas in here. But so far, I would say keep an eye on your favorite coins. I mean, there's nothing wrong to keep an eye on them. Look for those support areas. Set your alert on those support areas. And if you need to, because I mean, sometimes it just happens to be the best to have this kind of like notations, right? I mean, price maybe, and then we can go and do something like, hey, I'm looking for, right, the FOR, flip of the ribbon, right, maybe some small candles on the RSI prime, and maybe I'm looking for what, I don't know, breakout of the trend line, right? So trend line breakout. So something like this. So when you come back in here, right, and maybe you have it all different because it's been, I don't know, maybe one day, or you have the FOMO or whatever, you can come here and look at what is your main plan. Are you following that plan? I mean, is it time to buy in? Is it time to short? And well, then also remember, as we talked about, add your alerts on those trend lines, because when we hit the trend line, you're also going to be asking yourself, hey, how is my oscillator looking? Am I bouncing off the zero line? Well, sure the thing, because it's going to go lower, right? Remember, on the bear market, lower movements are much profitable than longing the price action. So that's why it's a bear market or a bear trend, because lower movements are much more profitable than higher movements. But yeah, so far that's what I'm looking at. I basically have Ethereum, Aero, Bitcoin, ENA, Render, ICP. I also have BNB and ADA locked and ready to go. I also have a couple of other stuff in here that you can see my alerts. And in between those, let me bring one of my favorite ones at this point because I was looking at IBM breakout. All right. So we have a very quick bouncing here, not all the way up as I was expecting. And we're getting to the next area of support right around this zone. So keep an eye on IBM. I think that we might be able to have that flip of the ribbon in here, somewhere between this area and this area, and could be a good area to buy in, getting ready to sell out. I know I diverge a little bit from altcoins, but I think it's important to keep track of what we have visited before. But yeah, that's what I got so far on the altcoin area.
Awesome. I'm reading the chat. Excuse me. Andreas asked about Nightbot, and there was a whole conversation about Nightbot. And 2Dub said, which is Wixwife 589. If you don't know, you can drop 2Dubs in the chat. She said, if they ever get Nightbot, I will riot over here at Piper Academy. And hey, look, it's real simple. Until Alexandra G tells me what to get, I won't have Nightbot. So Alexandra G actually runs the show. She's the CEO at Piper Academy. If you guys didn't know, we're just here as entertainment. We're just the faces. Alexandra G runs it all. Little secret you guys didn't know. Alexandra G actually owns Piper Academy. So I'm watching NVIDIA, bro. Let's get over and talk about NVIDIA real fast. I want to talk about that because we do have earnings coming in tomorrow. We did get a little sell-off here on this daily right now. It's down a little bit slightly today. Let's see here. What are we down? 2.55% from yesterday. NVIDIA taking in some of that beautiful volatility that we're seeing on the VIX. But what I'm watching here is the fact that we do have a dynamic reactor, which is coming in at like 171.5. I do have an order in at 172 to try to pick up some more NVIDIA on that. But we are getting the wicks coming in here on the daily, pretty bright ones. And those typically indicate, hey, we might be near the bottom. We can come down for a swing fail pattern, but typically you're in that range. So yeah, looking at that 172, I might do a partial and a partial on that, but am looking to pick up some more NVIDIA before tomorrow's earnings just to be exposed to it. But I want to talk about something that Eric Wallen brought up. He messaged me and he said, hey, Piper, talk to, see, look, Alexandra G said no to the Nightbot. You got it, ma'am. You got it. Mod Queen in the house. She said, Eric Wallen said, hey, Piper, you might want to bring up the people that are worried about getting out of their damaged alts portfolio, right? And here's what I would do. Here's how I would approach my alt portfolio if I haven't got out yet. If I didn't sell everything alt-wise back in January, and if I didn't get out of everything and start DCAing again at 126, what would I do right now? I would look at taking off some of off the table at losses for tax loss harvesting. And this is not financial advice. I am not an accountant, but I do have a great one. It's right there above OC's head, decrypted.tax. And they've been able to offset a lot of my capital gains taxes. Other side, OC, other side, other hand. Yep, there you go. Right there. Decrypted.tax. Good job. Spatial awareness 101. So yeah, it's that's what I would look at doing. Tax loss harvesting is a thing, and it helps you offset your capital gains a lot. And so if you have a good tax accountant that understands crypto and understands tax loss harvesting, that might be the time to do it before December 31st. Not financial advice, but that's what I would do. And it's how I would handle that so that I'm not carrying this stuff on a full round trip. I'm at least making money because you can offset for a long time on your capital gains. So decrypted.tax right there. Alexander G just dropped it for us. Or you can cross your fingers, do a Hail Mary, say 10 Hail Marys and go to communion and everything else that you need to hope that we get a great relief rally. I do think it's possible. And I want to jump over here and talk about the higher time frame really fast, OC, because historically, and I've said this to you guys many times, but historically, we don't just break the 52 week and call it a day and we're done. Okay. We did have one cycle back here that happened on. Let me just isolate the top chart. We did have one cycle that happened on, but we still had a relief rally. It just never came back to the the 52 week, right? We lost it here and it didn't come back and hit it. But if you turn on your bull market support band, you'll see we did come back to that. So there was a good relief rally here back in 2014. Run this from the bottom from the bottom to that level that we came up. There we go. And we'll touch that bull market. That was a 72% rally. Now, mind you, I'm not saying we're going to have that in this situation, but historically, we do come back and retest that once we lose it. Here we go. We lost it, had a nice move up from the downside to the upside, 50% retracement, rejection off the 52 week simple moving average. Move on in time. Going forward in time, here we go. Lost it, came right through it, right? Had another return rally here, 46% to a rejection of the 52 weeks. So if you are looking for that, okay, I would rather take the highest risk and run with that, then you're looking at us, say this was the bottom right now. You're talking about an upside move of 14%. Even if we came all the way down to this 50% line, I'm talking 70% down here, $70,000 Bitcoin down here. And I've talked about that level back up to that 52. That's going to be in the ballpark of that 46, 47%. It's going to be about 43%. So there are some ways here that you can manage your alt portfolio at this point. But historically, we do come back and at least hunt for our previous support range of the 52 week or the bull market support band to get a rejection off of before we head lower. And that would be called a relief rally. So there is that idea also. Take either way, do your own research, talk to your tax professional, see what they think. But that's how I would handle either one of those situations if you are locked in some stuff that you're now in losses on. So, see, we got about 13 minutes. What else you watching on the alt side? Let's go talk about some more. Let's get some more degenery in here. Degenny from the blockchain. If you're watching this later on, appreciate you, brother. He always leaves great comments and feedback. Always in the comments. If you guys have never gone back and go look at videos from the morning market report. Read the Jenny from the blockchain's comments. I appreciate it, man. OC, what you got for us, bro?
Perfect. So if we want to go take a look at some degen moves, let's go and check out, for example, crypto bubbles on the daily or even on the hourly, depending on how degen you are, right? I like to go over daily and then start thinking as a counter indicator, right? Something important is like, for example, right here, Aster, I will be looking for a short, but that is not a done deal. I still want to jump in and see how things are moving, right? For example, I'm not gonna be trading this, whatever this is. SEC, for example, I could be looking for a bounce up, right? Maybe a Stargate, Start Net, I could be looking for a long, FET for a short, so on and so forth. Especially things that are like Aster that are pretty far up. So let's go check out Aster here. So let's bring this up. Here we got it. We already have an analysis going on now.
Barely know her.
Yes. All right, so it's moving fairly great. I mean, it has already a bouncing area. We were tracking this trend line. This trend line has been pretty good at catching those continuation highs, right? Let's also bring this up in here, and we're gonna be looking again for this one right there. So we have a breakout, perfect. We have a continuation. We still have some strength. I think we can still long this thing, but it's very, very important. This is not, I'm not telling you to go long it right away, right? Look at this. We have a breakout, retest continuation. We are pretty bullish still on the 4 hour. Let's see how our resistances are doing right in here. So far, looking that we're getting to the resistance, chasing after the price, I wouldn't recommend. But if you're really itching for that trade, you could maybe do that break of structure buy up in here, right? Just make sure that you set very tight stop loss, something like that, and then very early take profit, something around these lines I would call, all right? I'm not sending you to buy it. because I don't like to buy this kind of things. I rather have a breakout, retest, continuation. And if you want to wait for that, wait for this area, maybe short it in here. And then if we hold it, all right, then you long it all the way up in here. This is going to highly depend on Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin keeps dumping, it's also either going to move sideways or dump all the way to where the liquidity is at, all right? What is your liquidity? At 1.10. So keep an eye on those areas, I think. And let's move this a little bit higher. There it is at 1.716, just for good measure. And well, we can go, for example, check another one in here. We're talking about, let me just get this out of the way. All right, no internet connection. Huh.
That's Cloudflare, bro. Congratulations.
Oh,
You've been Cloudflared.
you're right, and it was working 1 hour ago. All right. Oh shoot. Well, whatever. I think that we can go and take a look at, I don't know, something like ICP. We're talking also about ICP. Oh man, I feel crippled at this point. All right. ICP not looking bad at all. Actually, let me just clear this up. And why is it not looking bad at all? Because we have a very nice breakout of the trend line. Let's go check that out on the 4 hours. We can actually there we go, change this trend line a little bit to a better workout. We have a breakout. We're going for the retest. All right, this is great. I see a goose head. So I'm looking for another support. Do we have that support? Let's bring that up. And let's see if we have some sort of support in here. That's what we're going to be looking at. And guess what? We do have a big support right in there. So we have a bunch of support here and in here. So let me close things out. All right. And let's see, how are we going to be working around this? So we know we have a lot of support around these areas. So I'm going to be looking for my reversal diamond. And then once I have that reversal diamond, I'm going to be looking for strength in here. And I'm going to be looking for something like this on the goose head. So areas of entries, somewhere around here, being very careful because we are not making a higher low. We are going to still be making a double bottom, all right? So this will be a Danger Will Robinson area right here at 496 area. So I'll actually put it right there at 498. So that's basically what I got on icons. I'm trying to stay away a bit of those, just doing some other like ones like this ones, for example, arrow. Let me clear this up. For example, this double top played out fantastically. Let's remove everything. And I believe that we are still on that trend line here, but I'm watching closely. Look at that. I actually was looking for a little bit lower, but we are getting that breakout. Let's go to 30 minutes in here. On the 30 minutes, we are breaking out, but we have a resistance. We are still above that zero line. So would this be a good area to buy? I would say not to. Let's just wait for breakout, retest, continuation. All right. By the way, this is your entry. If we don't get that, of course, you're going to be looking for a retracement, just like it happened here, just like it happened here, just like that might be happening there, right? So keep an eye, be very flexible at these areas, because remember, Bitcoin has already broken almost every barrier out there, and it's just not bouncing. So just keep your eyes on things, and remember, have a plan A and a plan B. Apply as we
Absolutely.
go.
Absolutely. Apologize about choking on my coffee. I think I got some on my desk too. So, yeah, someone said here in the chat, they said, ICP, it was Dave Digital, double D's in the house. Dave Digital said ICP is the exact example of a dump 90% and then a dump 90% and then a dump 90%. Facts. That can happen, guys. That's why you got to be very careful with your altcoins. I want to talk about one more thing before we head out here, OC. An article just dropped on CNBC, and I find it interesting what they're talking about here. I got two things about this article. One, and we'll bring up News Cam. OC's on here with me. What's up, OC? How you doing? Two things here. One, I want this freaking shelf. Can I get this shelf in my house, please? Someone find this shelf. I need this shelf in my life. Anyway, the Bitcoin bottom is falling out. Here's where the selling may stop, according to Katie Stockton. What's Katie got to say? Bitcoin has been on a brief dip Steadied after a brief dip from the critical $90,000 support level. The pullback is meaningful. It can be prolonged. We have oversold conditions already, yet those oversold conditions have yet to give way to a decisive buy signal. What level are they talking about on the downside move? Our intermediate term gauges still point lower. Okay. 78,000 to 80,000 marks the bottom boundary of the level at which the token's cyclical bull trend could be broken. Let's go look at that level, $78,000 to $80,000. And let's talk about that on the chart here. $70,000 to $80,000, that would be somewhere around a 50% retracement. Why does that matter? Because typically, guys, Bitcoin has seen 50% retracements in a cycle that are normal. Okay. That would be a 44% downturn down to that 50% retracement line. If that's the case, yeah, then this could be an absolutely normal cycle. Yeah, we set a lower low, but that would also be setting up for a swing fell pattern off of this low, and then we bounce from there. If we go anything past the $70,523 line, I do think at that point we've broken 50% retracements. And if you want to see what those look like historically, back here, 2021, we had the high here that came in early in the season, about April, okay? And then we came all the way down for a bounce on the 52 week. I want to point out that we did find support on the 52 week there. We're below it now, but we did get that rally to the upside, and that drop from that peak in May down to there was about 55%. So this 50% retracement here, 70,000, I do think she's right. That is a good line in the sand. If we're going anything past that, then we have to consider that it's probably golden pocket or historically the 786, which would be $40,000 Bitcoin. So there are some levels that we still need to be keeping watch on the long term for downside move. But yeah, according to Katie Stockton, she said likely going lower, but $78,000, $80,000 range should be a key level to hold. Anything beyond that, we're screwing the pooch. The shitteth shall hitteth the fan. So, OC, that's about all the time we got today, man. What else you got for the people on the way out? You got anything for them besides smash that like button?
Absolutely, smash that like button. By the way, I think we might have an early launch, still not confirmed. So keep your eyes open on the Chart Prime site. So just giving you guys an
early launch, not a lunch. For those that are curious about lunch, it's an early launch for Black Friday sale on Chart Prime. So there you go. I speak OC. It's okay. I got you, bro.
So just trying to give you some insight. So just be prepared. If you're looking for the best prices, they usually are at the very beginning of the Black Friday event. So keep you guys posted. Other than that, click that like button. It really helps with the algorithm. And, well, be very flexible throughout these trading days until we have a definition of the trend continuation, all right? Most likely, I'm expecting 2 to 3 weeks to have a clean direction for what are we going to be doing, rather longing or shorting. I really hope that is either of those, and it happens really fast right now. I'm getting bored of this just vanilla movement.
Boring. Yeah, appreciate you, man. You gonna be live tonight?
Yes, I'm gonna be live tonight.
Sweet. All right, guys, make sure you guys tune in tonight. Watch OC trade setups with OC guy at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time now. And we'll be back here tomorrow morning. Hopefully BC Port Corp is doing Good Morning Crypto. If not, we'll see you at 10 a.m. right here on the Morning Market Report, bringing you guys the news, the charts, the markets, the headlines, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Until next time, guys, trade safe. Use some risk management. Don't get bored. Drink a beer and Clamato. Evidently, that's okay in the morning time. And stay locked in, guys, or clocked in. Put on your McDonald's outfit. You may have to go to work. We appreciate you all. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Peace, love, profits. Later, guys.
That's the rap. Chart stack, data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart Prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional balance.
We'll see you at the next
don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out.
Boom shakalaka!
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report.
We're heading to Crypto Princess, guys. Drop those graduation caps when you get there. Redirect. Let's go.
That was awesome, dude. Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?